Is it inflation, or are you just hallucinating? Are you seeing the economic data in your daily life, and is it all rosy? I would guess a resounding no. If you think you may be falling behind in your financial goals, see the video description to access the free Inflation Retirement Calculator to make sure that you are on track. To discuss the present economic environment and how investments in scarce and time-tested assets like gold and silver can help you secure your financial future, we will hear from macro analyst and investor Lyn Alden, economist, White House advisor, and author Jim Rickards, economist and investor Keith Weiner.
In a certain sense, I don't need to prove that the dollar is failing, that the debt is skyrocketing exponentially. A quote, or at least Winston Churchill is reported to have said this. God bless the Americans, because after they've tried everything else, they'll do the right thing. We've used gold as money historically. It works surprisingly well. The UK, when England ran the world's trade in the late 1890s, the system was so efficient that there was 160 tons of gold in London at the time of the peak of this gold standard. Today, the state of Nevada produces 166 tons. So it was very efficient. It worked very well.
Since gold was demonetized in the mid-1970s, you have, let's just say, 2 generations plus of scholars who have never learned about gold. The older scholars know better. I've spoken to Ben Bernanke about this. He understands it. He just won't say anything good about it for the reason I mentioned is he's one of the guys with his hand on the printing press. But all the younger students and younger scholars have been greatly, I would say, disserved and disadvantaged by the fact that they have not had a good education in gold. And what you get are these really propaganda points that gold caused the Great Depression, which is not true. There's not enough gold in the world to support finance, which is not true.
Who's to blame here? You see a lot of people say just blaming the Fed or just blaming that bank. And it's just kind of a mix of a lot of factors, because the Federal Reserve did create a very difficult operating environment when you have, say, a rapid increase in the amount of broad money supply, very low interest rates. And, when asked about the rapid increase in the broad money supply, the Federal Reserve chairman said he didn't really see this being inflationary. Then, of course, it was inflationary, and then they had to pivot their whole monetary policy. They raised rates. They also sucked liquidity back out of the banking system. And so basically, banks are undergoing this gigantic whipsaw.
We're going to try to inflate our way out from under our debt. That's the American way. Like, we don't actually default. We just inflate the currency away. So we say to China, here's your $1 trillion. Good luck buying a loaf of bread. Take China, for example. I mean, they're bleeding reserves. First of all, their reserve position has dropped. But what they can do is buy gold, which they're doing by the thousands of tons, by the way. These are enormous purchases that are going on. If the U.S. does inflate the dollar and does destroy the value of the paper, what's going to happen to the gold? It's going to skyrocket. So what you have is a hedge position where it's like a seesaw. They own both sides of the seesaw, and one goes up, the other goes down, but they maintain the value.
I don't necessarily need to prove that we're going to do the right thing, as Winston Churchill gave his very perverse backhanded blessing of all this. I just need to prove the proposition or defend the proposition that gold is going to remain an important form of money, not the only, not the leading, not take over as the gold standard, which my company is working to do. That's our raison d'etre. And in order for this proposition to fail, I'm going to make the argument that 2 things would have to occur. Both gold would have to cease to be what it's been, how it's still behaving even today. Gold would have to change its behavior and do an abrupt U-turn. And in addition to that, either the failing dollar, which I think most of the people in this room agree is failing, would have to change its nature as well. And if gold or the dollar or Bitcoin doesn't change, then gold is going to continue to remain an important form of money in the 21st century. And so if you're thinking about this proposition, are these things going to change what they are? I would just conclude by saying the tiger does not change his stripes.
Just a quick interruption to say thank you for supporting our channel. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this video content. It really does make a difference. Also, a quick mention and shout out to one of our sponsors, Augusta Precious Metals. With over a decade in the industry, Augusta Precious Metals is one of the leading gold investing companies for trust, customer empowerment, and prices. The company provides 401k rollover services to tax-advantaged gold IRAs, as well as a unique gold investing educational webinar and resources for their customers, helping beginning and experienced investors protect their retirement wealth with confidence. Whether you are starting a brand new gold IRA or rolling over an existing account, the company will make this process seamless and stress-free. To find out more about Augusta Precious Metals, see the link in the video description to visit Augusta Precious Metals' official site to receive a free gold investing guide. Also, check out our video review of Augusta Precious Metals by clicking the link in the top right. Now back to the episode.
In the 70s, they were able to raise rates because debt as a percentage of GDP was low. You could put rates in the double digits, and that interest expense was still relatively small. I mean, it put the economies into a recession, but it didn't put you into a depression. Whereas in the 40s, when you have sovereign debt's 100% debt to GDP, and it's even worse now because you have all this private debt.
So if you look at public debt and private debt in the United States, it's about 370% of GDP. Then that is bullish for more scarce assets in the long term.
I'm pretty bullish on gold. I'm starting to see it confirmed in price. And so, for example, with a declining PMI, basically risk off of environment, gold kind of finally has its chance to kind of decouple from S&P 500 to the upside. So that combination of decelerating economy, and if the Fed indeed is unable to be as hawkish as is currently priced in, that could be a bullish catalyst for gold. And so it's really once the other things start to encounter weakness that people can look around and say, well, what's doing well? And one of them is, I think, in this declining PMI environment, is gold.
A big pet peeve of mine is this idea that the Fed is going to smooth out the business cycle. I encourage anybody to go put together or look at a graph of anything you want to pick, interest rate or otherwise, and take a look at from the inception of the United States, call it 1790 to 1913, and then take a look at the post-1913 reality, and then tell me which one was more stable. So my favorite chart to look at with the interest rate was amazingly stable. It had some blips when there were existential threats, a War of 1812, obviously the mid-1860s, some other, lesser things along the way. It was amazingly flat. And then after 1913, it all goes completely off the rails. And the people who manage the off-the-rails process have the nerve to say, look at how much more stable we made things because we've taken it off the rails. We've taken the interest rate down to absurd depths. We've taken it to the moon in 1981. But yeah, our system is somehow more stable. Mendacious, I'm sorry.
The end game of a very, very indebted sovereign country is that they have to do often QE type of activities, even when inflation's above target, just to support the bond market.
If mortgage rates are 10-50%, if treasury debt is 10-50%, everybody's insolvent.
But investors need to look forward. I call it the curse of the 2-second attention span. People worried about what's happening today or tomorrow. Well, that's fine if you're a day trader, but if you're an investor, you're worried about your retirement, you're worried about wealth, your children's well-being, etc. You ought to be looking a little further down the road. Right. Well, the first piece of advice I would give is position now. What I recommend to investors, you want about 10% gold. Maybe a little more if you want to lean into it, if you have a higher risk appetite, but not much less than that.
With a 5,000-year record that has withstood every economic business cycle, stock market booms and busts, global conflicts, and outlasting every faith-based fiat currency, gold is no one's liability. It builds wealth while preserving it. Owning physical gold and precious metals requires responsible sourcing of grades, purity, condition, the best prices, transparency, and most of all, security and storage. Gold IRAs are a tax-deferred means of owning physical gold and ensuring all these investing principles are met. We have reviewed and vetted the best gold IRA companies that meet all these requirements. See the link in the video description to access the free gold investment guides. If you have $100K of retirement savings to protect and want to take advantage of the best gold prices, see the link in the video description to sign up for the free Gold and Silver Web Conference hosted by Augusta Precious Metals. Thank you for watching.